What's going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I've got a very special treat for all of you. As you can see here in the splits, there's a quest for Booty Run. I want you to go ahead, for those of you who don't follow my Twitter or my Discord, which I don't even know what you're doing at this point if you don't follow both of those. See, I did there, it's like a call to action type thing. It's like saying, hey, watch the thing, bitch. You're going over here. You want to take the path of least resistance when you're taking these lines. I want you to really pay attention if you want to learn this category, especially to how I do my lines here. I've been having a lot of trouble with that specific trick for some reason last night, but then I just had to like really buckle down and focus up on where my positioning was. So here we jump around this cutscene trigger. Oh, never mind. This wasn't even the right run. Well, what do you know, Twitch chat? That was a failed run. Here we go. We're going to go again. A run so good, we had to do it twice. Here we go. Okay, so this is it for sure. I know for a fact this is the world record run now. So, here we go. So this little jump right here, I actually want to talk about it. You have to tuck yourself into a very specific spot there. And then I always do 5 X presses. I always do bump, 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 bump. And then on the 5th one, you can double jump after that. Yeah, you can say hello to YouTube again, everybody. I don't mind. It was my goof. So you can feel free to say, hey, what's up? Mr. and Mrs. Liam Russell, if Mr. or Mrs. Liam Russell heard you saying that, I don't know if they'd be very happy. Regardless, here we are once again. I can actually split correctly this time. I swear I can. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Look at that, 0.0, as predicted. As predicted. So yeah, a big part of this game is the unskippable cutscenes as well, but I actually like the unskippable cutscenes, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought they would really interrupt the flow of the game, but I think it makes for a really, really pristine offline grinding experience, because then when I'm offline, I don't have to worry about talking to people, I'm just listening to music, I just vibe out. I'm usually high as f when I'm doing these runs anyway, I'm not gonna lie to you. I usually get like extremely baked, and then I just start doing, I was high as shit when I got this world record. So I had been smoking weed pretty much all night, and I was just in the vibe of the game. I was just really enjoying myself. So yeah, and then here we hit this double jump strat. You gotta do a really delayed double jump to make that, and then here you don't want to do a delayed double jump. You want to do a very fast double jump. Here we go around the cutscene trigger. I go down below. I realized recently you want to use that rock to not push you so far underneath the water. See how like I'm pretty high up in the water, all things considered. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna disable alerts for now, just for now, Oxlord Panda, just so that I can focus on commentary, and then I'll get back to you in a second. But of course, I love and appreciate you, Oxlord. Thank you so much. That magnet rail clip, by the way, for those of you who don't know, what you can do is, to get an optimal magnet rail clip, what I do is I swivel the analog stick around as I'm going. So you do the double jump and hyper strike. Let me explain this. I have the time to do so now. You want to double jump hyper strike onto that little rock that you see me jump on. I forgot to split. And what I do is I double jump and hyper strike again as soon as I double jump hyper strike the first time, and then it puts me right next to the magnet rail, and then I jump into the magnet rail with a swiveling motion, and it clips Ratchet through the magnet rail, and that's how you can do that consistently. It's really, really cool. And then for the rest of that, you have to know the kill zones and the out of bounds. There's a lot of kill zones, just got to make sure that you're avoiding all of that, and then you go underneath the thing, and you clip out, and you're done with Hulafar. So now we're approaching the caves or whatever is what I've lovingly referred to this split as in my splits down here, but this is obviously Morrow Caverns. So yeah, Morrow Caverns is a bit tricky. There's a couple things that like really make it a little difficult. I even incorporate a new strat that I don't think any booty world record has ever had before. So you'll get to see that in a little bit as well, which is really, really sick. So here we start. This is actually the hardest part of Morrow. Is actually the very, very first thing you have to do. So you cut around Sasha and Pete. I just called her Sasha. You cut around Talwyn and Pete. I'm sure the YouTube comments are going to hang me for that one. So here you want to step on this rock and do like a very well-timed double jump hyperstrike to stick yourself into that little rock partition, and then use that to double jump up here. It's a lot trickier than it looks. But thankfully, you know, I got it with relative expediency. So here we're just doing this whole out of bounds section. This is nothing too particularly tricky right here. I like to land on this little rail so I can just hop over that little, I don't know, it looks like a long nose to me, or maybe like a thing of the tail end of a bagpipe. Here I cut through the little bats because they can't hit you. They look very menacing, but they're actually pretty harmless. And then from here, this is actually a pretty good paced, this is really good pace so far. So effectively all I'm really trying to do here is not lose any more time. This is actually a little bit of a tricky jump. I'm realizing you have to land in basically that exact spot that I land in order to ledge grab up. I was doing a little bit of research on that because I lost a couple runs to that last night. You're going to hear me say a lot that I lost certain runs to certain things because I feel like on any given day you will lose a run to everything in this game. So yeah, we're nearly done with this first part now. I go back into third person mode because it's a little bit faster than being in lock strafe. And I try to do a skip here where I move Ratchet back left and then mash the shit out of start. And that way, it's supposed to skip one of these cutscenes, but I failed both cutscene skips, actually. I get the cutscene for both of them. That's 10 seconds of effective time loss against a perfect run. Which is why usually you get at least one. You usually, well, if you do get one, it's still very tricky to get any of them, actually. It's more likely you won't get them than you actually would get them. But that's a big reason why I'm not 100% satisfied with this run. But we'll get into that later. So now we're in the back part of this. I had to wait a little bit to throw the concussion or the fusion grenade at those guys right there. And here comes the new strat that I was telling you about. A world record in this game has never had this strat before. So we delay the rising of the elevator by jumping and moving into the back of the elevator to trigger the thing to go up. And that gives us just enough time up here to jump onto this box and then double jump up and then use the collision or like the unactive, like that guy can't hit you. You can stand on top of him. So you just get on top of the Leviathan or whatever you call that thing. And then you hyper strike on top of him and then you go over him. You use him as leverage. That saves about 1.5 seconds, I think. And here I pause and unpause the game to skip the cutscene. And then here we go. I'm going to actually split correctly this time. Look at that. Beautiful. 0.0. We're back. See, I told you all. I told you all I can do this. So now we got another pretty extended like sequence of cutscenes here. But I actually like this because I feel like it mentally prepares me for the back half of the run. So this is actually easily my worst split in the entire run. I think I end up actually losing time despite being able to save 5 seconds against my gold. So it's a really kind of shameful split for me. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about it wrong. My previous PB was a 4:58 and I was very excited to be able to save free time basically, but then I ended up losing a second to that PB. Obviously I'm not going to lose a second here because these are the world record splits. But I'm going to kind of go through this one little step at a time just so that you can all kind of get the basic gist of what's going on here. So what's going to happen is there's just going to be wave after wave of enemies spawning, and you want to just make sure you're killing all of them with the combustor as efficiently as possible. You can't skip the cutscenes here no matter how hard you mash start. Trust me, I've tried. Realistically, what's going to happen here is we're just going to try to be, again, the name of the game here is efficiency. It's making sure that you're staying around the cannonballs, that you're doing things as effectively as you possibly can. And I'm going to kind of go through the specifics of that as I'm doing it. So it's going to start out by, you have to kill these two enemies here. You kill this guy, and then you wait for this guy to sword attack, and then you kill him. Because when you kill him, you get the nanotech upgrade, and you want to use that. You want to make sure that people walking toward you that you're killing with a nanotech explosion are close enough to you that they die from the explosion. If they're too far back, your explosion goes off. It doesn't kill them. You just lose a ton of time. So, and then there you see me moving all the way back. There's a third guy that doesn't spawn until you're behind a certain line on the beach. So that's why you see me killing those people and then running all the way back. If that doesn't make sense to you at this exact moment when you rewind the video, if you're studying this to try to run this game yourself, it'll make a lot of sense to you. So now here we're just killing enemies as quickly as we can. Something I like doing here, I like moving toward the last enemy as I'm killing them, because it just saves a little bit of time. It's less distance the combustor fire has to travel. Yes, I did get world record city of birth, so I'm just commentating the run right now. And you can see I killed that one last enemy, used another nanotech explosion to kill those last couple of enemies.
Well, now we know what the BS
A bug just flew into my mouth. It was so gross. Sorry, give me a second here. I gotta. That was so rough. Anyway, you see me exiting and re-entering the turret a lot. And that's because when the turret closes, if you exit and re-enter, the thing immediately opens back up. So here I'm going to kill these 3 enemies with the combustor and then kill this last guy with the I can't even remember the name of it right now, the fusion grenade. I pause and unpause to skip the cutscene trigger. I miss a fusion grenade, actually, which ends up costing me time here. But now I want to level up the combustor to V5 on these enemies. That was a little slow, but that's okay. I only have 2 grenades here. So now I have to kill all these enemies. And this is the big time loss. I have to kill all these enemies with just the combustor and 1 fusion grenade, which takes forever and makes me lose a lot of combustor ammo. But we kill that guy quickly. We kill that guy quickly. And then we use the final nanotech explosion to kill the rest of the enemies. Then we walk it back. Yeah, YouTube's going to love me nearly choking to death on a fly. Oh my goodness. So now you see me doing the exact same thing here again. Entering and exiting and re-entering to make the stupid turrets open up. And then from here, ideally it should take 40 seconds, maybe 39 seconds from the time you blow up the last thing to the end of the split. So I know at this point I'm getting a 459, which makes me kind of sad. I'm not going to lie. I was really hoping for like a 455 or maybe even a 454. I had actually been cranking out like gold after gold split earlier today on this, or earlier the night that I was running this, last night on the split. So now I just skip Talwyn's dialogue. I unfortunately want to tell her to the island of not my problem, but you can't do that. So you got the smuggler. I accidentally split a little bit early. Lincoln Live, thank you. I'm going to get to the resubs after this is done. I want to just make sure alerts were disabled for the time being, just so that I could focus exclusively on commentary. There's also a huge pop-off at the end of this. If you're looking forward to that, you get to hear me like jump for joy, essentially. So this is Booty Juice Island, as I call it. I forget the actual name of this place. It's like Dark Water or Black Water. No, it's Dark Water, because we already have a Black Water. Dark Water is easily the trickiest split because there's a strat that you only get 1 attempt at. Actually, pretty much everything you only get 1 shot at. And so, like, it's not super difficult, but if you do any one particular thing wrong after a certain point, you just lose the entire run. So here I'm mashing start again to try to skip this upcoming cutscene, but of course I fail, and so that effectively loses 5 seconds to my gold split. But that's okay. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't need that. I'm just going to keep going. So you throw 1 nanoswarmer, 2 nanoswarmers, wrench here, double jump, and then double jump again up top of that after the ledge grab. Then I clip through very seamlessly with my new setup, throw 1 final nanoswarmer. So now I only have 1 nanoswarmer left. And it's very important you only have 1 nanoswarmer at this point, because the final nanoswarmer will always throw at your feet, whereas the other ones are kind of random and don't do that. So I jump up here. Look at this quick little setup right here. I align it all up. I throw the turret down, and I just start mashing jump. That's the trick you only get 1 chance at. So I shock Ravager up on top of those rocks. I cut across here with this neat little path. In the tree, part of the tree, we're going to keep on going. And then we do Shock Ravager, wait, and then Shock Ravager, Shock Ravager, Shock Ravager. You don't need this many Shock Ravagers, but I just wanted to play it safe. because I knew that I was on world record pace at this point. Like, I knew I was very easily on world record pace, so I had to just make sure that I wasn't doing anything too crazy, so that was a little slow. And now I'm just using the Predator launcher to kill this guy. I tried to get the clip here, but then failed, unfortunately. But that would have saved a couple of seconds. But I am very much on world record pace now. Just so you know, the average experience for anybody who's running quests for booty is that by the time you get past this portion of the game, you are nervous as hell. Because you know that whether or not you PB is not even up to you. You don't get any say in the matter. It's a matter of whether or not Slag decides to be nice to you or not. So now we're going to do this. We're splitting up here. I have to frame time this because I'm not sure whether I got 1905.0 or 1904.9. It's at worst 1905. But anyway, I'm going to walk you through this final split step by step because there's a lot of tricky stuff that has to go down. A lot of tricky stuff. Of course, not excluding the RNG final boss. The very, very last minute of this game is completely determined by RNG. In fact, it's not even the last minute. It's roughly like the last 30 seconds, I guess, in theory. Zem, how can you get world record in every category you attempt? Because I'm built different. No, it's really because I have no life. I'm a 28-year-old man who spends all of his time inside playing video games. So here you double jump Shock Ravager again. And then I swap to the combustor so that I can immediately start lighting him up. I want to make sure I'm as close to him as possible so all 3 shots are hitting him. I start walking back here because I know I'm triggering the second phase soon. And then I walk over here. I line myself up in a very specific way. This is very, very difficult to do. Anybody who's ever run this game can tell you that particular like ledge hang is super difficult. And here I swap back to lock strafe too early out of nerves. I wanted to switch to lock strafe here because it's a little bit faster to be in third person at that point. But I was just super nervous. I knew I was on a really, really good run. And so here, basically the big thing is you just want to make sure you have Predator launcher ammo. And I was actually concerned about my combustor ammo because normally I have like 60 plus ammo here. But having only 55 made me really nervous because I thought I'd run out of ammo. Spoiler alert, it turns out to not really be a problem, but I didn't know that at the time. So here what you do is you do a close-up attack with a combustor, hit him with all 3 shots, and then ideally you should kill that in 1 Predator launcher, but it doesn't really lose time to do that. So I do that here, and then I pause and unpause immediately to skip the cutscene. Double jump, throw the skull into Slag, and then immediately send him into this phase. Now, I get hit a couple times, which makes this a little slow. I lose, like, maybe a second or 2. But it's still fine. I mean, that's totally okay. And then I land on that to trigger the next phase of the sequence. And from here, it's basically just a matter of keeping up with, you know, basically it's a matter of just not doing anything stupid. All the hard parts of this level are already done and over with. It's just luck-based from here on in. So I double jump Shock Ravager up over here. I wait for this guy to jump up and land. I shoot him with 3 combustor shots. Like, I hit him in a row with all 3. And then I hit him with 2 Predator launchers to kill him. You want to make sure you're having no less than 22 Predator launcher ammo. 23 is the sweet spot. But you can make 22 work as well. I pull out the combustor again as I'm entering this boss fight. I light him up. I think I get through this phase very quickly. He does a sword swing. And then he does plummets the sword into the ground. And then he's just done and over with. I swap back to the Predator launcher because we have to level this up to V5 now. And I'm just going to start leveling it on these enemies. You can see my pathing here is very intentional. I walk very intentionally down the center of the room first to spawn those 2 guys. It's the only way you could spawn those 2. And now I death abuse. And so now the final part of the run is coming up. This is the RNG-based part of the run. All you can do is throw on the Raptor launcher and just pray. You just pray you get first try Slag. And so what I'm looking for here, there's 3 attacks Slag can do. He can fire his blaster, he can swing his sword, and he can plummet his sword into the ground. You want him to do the sword swing attack because then he has to go to you. That's the only attack he goes to you. by doing. So you effectively have a 1 in 3 chance. And of course, Slag wanted to be nice to me today, so he does it on the first try. And so now time is going to be coming up here. I fire 4. I fire 4. I lock onto 4. Hold it. Fire. Fire. I fire 3, and then I fire 4. That was a bit early. I split a little too early there. That was I think I split a little too late in my actual splits. I think I split a little bit too early in just now. So I actually do think it's 1904. I'm gonna have to double check the timing of that. But wait for it. Wait for it. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
And so, after several lucky shots and a few.
Sorry, I forgot I was popping off there. I can't hear my own audio. I can't hear my own audio. But yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry if I talked over that at all. I was pumped. Is there a way for me to go back so we can hear that all again? Give me just a second. I want to make sure. Is there like a way that I can control where it's at time-wise? Here, let me see this. I know if I go over here, wasn't there some sort of timing thing that I could control? I thought there was a way I could control the video. I guess I was wrong. But yeah, the full pop-off. I'll make sure if there's a way to edit that in there, that we can get the full uninterrupted pop-off. But yeah, so that's the record. I'm gonna have to retime that. I'm pretty sure it's 1904. But yeah, so thank you all for watching that. That is the new Quest for Booty world record. I'm very, very proud of all my hard work that it took to get to that point. It was very difficult. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot harder to get that world record than I thought it would be. But it was very well worth it, I thought. I had a very good time grinding that game.